Hello everybody, today we're going to be talking about Semax or Cmax, however you prefer to pronounce it. I think it's entirely up to you. So this is a peptide that originated out of Eastern Europe, and that's where it spends most of its time, but let's get into it. So, quick diversion. First off, I appreciate everyone's support and viewing the channels. And the comments I'm getting, it's awesome. I love it, everything about it, the feedback. I just ask that you please like and subscribe. It's the only way that we can support the channel, and as always, thank you. Any requests, any videos or topics you want to see, leave a comment. And as far as feedback goes, I'm a bit curious, do you prefer the deep dives into the hormone physiology, peptide, mechanism of action, physiology and pharmacology, I can't even talk, all that fun stuff, or do you just want to get to the nuts and bolts? This episode's one that'll go a bit more into the details, as you'll see, some big words that I think are not that familiar to somebody not involved with biochemistry, and so yeah, just let me know what you think. Alright, let's get started. So Semax is a peptide used intranasally or subcutaneously that has been the subject of apparently extensive Russian research. So it's used intranasally, subcu, just because it has poor oral bioavailability. It's a peptide that's oftentimes paired with another called Selank. So you'll see them sold together, Semax and Selank, which sounds like a law firm, but it's not. And as far as how it kind of is created, it's a synthetic analog of a fragment of adrenocorticotropic hormone, or ACTH. And so there are many clinical applications of this hormone axis, and there could be errors or insufficiencies in really either step, making its way down from the anterior pituitary to the adrenal glands. And this results in really a myriad of different medical conditions. So we'll just take a look at the adrenal glands real quick, just to see what they do, since this is really the organ that ACTH acts on. And adrenal, it sits right above the kidneys. And when researching the adrenal gland, you'll read about the cortex and the medulla, and it's just important to note that the cortex is the outer portion, the medulla is the inner, and there are all these different layers which really fascinatingly play different roles. So cortex got 3 layers: glomerulosa, fasciculata, and reticularis, and that's from outer to inner. And in that order, they produce mineralocorticoids like aldosterone, glucocorticoids like cortisol, and androgens. The medulla itself plays a big role in creation of stress or sympathetic hormones, epinephrine, norepinephrine. So after that quick little aside, let's get back to Semax. So, as we discussed, it's a peptide whose research and use predominates in Eastern European countries. In Russia, it's used for its neuroprotective effects. Post-stroke, TIA, transient ischemic attack, or traumatic brain injury, to really improve recovery and kind of, the ability of the brain to essentially gather nutrition from the blood. And it does so by elevating BDNF expression and its signaling receptor, TRKB, in the hypothalamus. BDNF is brain-derived neurotrophic factor, and through its expression of TRKB, it induces neuroprotective properties within the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. Things like brain plasticity, learning, memory, and although how it works entirely is not known 100%, it's really interesting that low levels of BDNF are associated with increased risk of stroke and poorer recovery. So, the theory and the practice is that by improving these levels of BDNF, we could do the opposite: improve brain injury recovery. But most importantly, what's the research shown? So as you'll see, Semax is popularly marketed as memory improving, antidepressant, compound with anti-anxiety effects, and however, most of the research has been done on rats. And not that I have all the research coming out of Eastern Europe, and not that I even think all the research done there is actual research. It seems to be pretty popular over there. So in humans, Semax is used in early rehab of ischemic stroke associated with increased BDNF levels and improved motor recovery. And there's also an older study, I think in the mid-90s, that exhibits improved short-term memory and recall in humans. In rats, rodents, it shows improved recovery to the brain, antidepressant, and anxiolytic, still can't talk, or anti-anxiety properties, improving use and release of dopamine and serotonin. So there was this cool study in rodents who were given D-amphetamine, a stimulant. So Adderall is a mix of D-amphetamine and L-amphetamine. And when they were given Semax, before they were given the stimulant, they had enhanced dopaminergic and locomotor effects. So it positively, modulated. So essentially, Semax has potentiated amphetamine use. So when you see people online saying, oh, you know what, Semax is a possible treatment for ADHD, this is the reason why. And also, it showed increased serotonergic activity when Semax was given with this stimulant. So that was just a study that I thought was pretty cool as well. So risks and benefits, always the most complicated slide when it comes to these experimental peptides. As a non-regulated experimental drug, Semax's information on its risks and side effects are not well known. And given this isn't medical advice, I can't say try it out, but I can highlight the importance of doing your own research when it comes to peptides and their pharmacology. It was fun personally to look into Semax, and I will certainly be doing Selank next. As with most of these, more research is needed in humans. However, it seems that the post-stroke implications are more studied at this point, and honestly, I think the most fascinating component of it, the most unique part about it. And I'm also interested in the possible psychiatric implications of Semax. Things like treatment of anxiety, depression, ADHD, and maybe others. And I want to learn more about its long-term effects, the positives and the negatives. And always, thank you for watching and have a great day, my friends. Take care.